Alright guys, we're like 46 or 47 games into the NBA season, and I haven't been making too many NBA videos lately because I don't really watch the games that much, but you know, as time goes by I build up some material, so here's some cool things that I have been taking out of this season so far. Number one, probably the most interesting thing about this season that's going to continue to develop is Chris Paul. Now, listen to these numbers. I'm going to spell them out. Just over 21 points a game, just over 11 rebounds a game, 11 assists a game, just under 5.5 rebounds a game, just under 3 steals a game, about one block every 6 games, 0.17 per, shooting just a shade under 50% from the field, shooting just over 33% on his three-pointers, and shooting 87% on his free throws. Now, I've done some statistical comparisons with Chris Paul's season so far statistically, and it compares with almost every other point guard season you can think of in history. It, statistically, in terms of straight-up stats, it's better than Magic Johnson's best year. It's better than Jason Kidd's best year. It's better than John Stockton's best year. It's better than Steve Nash's best year. It compares and usually beats every point guard, historically great point guard season, except for Oscar Robinson's triple-double season when he had like 30 points and 10 rebounds and 10 assists a game, which is, no one's ever going to beat that. That is like the equivalent of the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game. Nobody's going to beat that, but guys, if you aren't already, keep your eye on Chris Paul, because like I said, if he keeps this up, especially if the Hornets get better when David West and Tyson Chandler come back and everything, because I know they have some injuries, I can't remember all of them, but keep an eye on this. I mean, this guy is going to be so special, and the Hornets, I think right now, are the 3 seed right behind the Spurs, because they actually, the West, after the Lakers, has a huge drop-off. Number 2 is the Spurs, and then number 3 is the Hornets, even though the Hornets have their problems. Probably my favorite player in the league right now is actually Dwight Howard, and, you know, I try and track his games. I, you know, just try and have fun with that, and you know, so far this season he's been playing well. He's averaging 20 points and 14 rebounds a game. And the other night against Cleveland, actually last night, I actually got a chance to watch this game, which is very rare for me. He was dominating. He had like 22 points and 18 rebounds in that game, just dominated the interior. I mean, he had easy competition to go up against because the Cavs didn't have Big Z back yet, but he was big time in that game. And you know, I like his personality, I like his demeanor. I feel like he should be better than he is, because you know, he's 7 foot 265. You know how high he can jump. He can, I guess, get like 2.5 feet above the rim if he really tries. I know he's young, I know he's still a little raw, he's coming along. I feel like he should be dominating every game. He doesn't, but he's starting to come along, and always very fun to watch him. And the dunk contest is coming up in like 10 days, I think, so you know, sometimes the dunk contest is good, sometimes it's boring, but I'm going to be watching it probably and rooting for Dwight Howard. I don't know who else is in it. I don't know if Jason Richardson's going to be in it. I think Nate Robinson's going to be in it, and Nate Robinson is a UW boy, and I'm a UW guy, so I'm going to be hoping the best for him as well. But I'm hoping Dwight Howard can pick those numbers up and really just establish himself, because his numbers are almost more or less the same as they were last year. Obviously, you have LeBron James. I try and follow just about everything he does for very obvious reasons. You guys know what's up. You know, he's playing great. The Cavs are playing great. But, you know, speaking of that Orlando game, the Cavaliers-Magic game last night, I saw something a little disturbing in this game. It was, you know, LeBron, if you look at his stat line, you're going to say he played pretty well. But I watched that game, and he looked like, you remember the old days when Vince Carter won it out of Toronto, and he would do this thing where he'd drive to the basket, get knocked down, and then spend the rest of the game jacking up jumpers because he was scared of getting knocked down again? that's what LeBron looked like. He wasn't driving. He kept pulling up and taking these jumpers, and he wasn't knocking it down. He, excuse me, he just didn't have his jumper, and he kept trying to force it, and because of it, the Cavs just couldn't get any points during that one stretch in the third and fourth quarter, and the Magic just pulled away during that part, and by the time the Cavs finally started scoring, it was over. So that disturbs me, because LeBron is not a pure perimeter player. Before anything else, he's a slasher, and he is an unstoppable slasher, and I know they were being physical with him, but that kind of bugged me. All that being said, you know, he's averaging just under 28 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, a little more than a block a game. You can't ask for much more from him, and, you know, still a little bit of a streaky shooter, but his field goal percentage is higher than he usually is. Free throws are actually, he's shooting free throws a little bit better than he usually does this year, so it looks good. I would just don't live and die by the jumper. Dwyane Wade, I actually got him in a fantasy league. I don't really play fantasy basketball that much, but I am in a league, and I got Dwyane Wade with the 10th pick. I was so happy, because I thought he was going to be one of the best, if not the best, fantasy player this year, and so far that's pretty much what's happened. 28.5 points, over 7 assists, over 2 steals, a block and a half, and 5 rebounds a game. And this Miami team, I know everybody's all aboard the LeBron James for MVP train, as am I, but this Miami team doesn't have a center, has a rookie point guard, meaning Dwyane Wade pretty much controls the ball at crucial moments of the game, always and forever. And, you know, all the other issues they have, they're on pace to win like 47 games. And if they break 50, which I don't think they will, but they might, if they break 50, I think Dwyane Wade has to enter that conversation. I'm looking at the Eastern Conference right now. Obviously, Boston is much better than Miami, so is Cleveland, and so is Orlando. Beyond that, I don't know why Miami can't get the 4th seed. Right now, Atlanta is ahead of them in the division. I think they're going to jump Atlanta. Something is wrong with Atlanta lately. I don't know what's up, but I think they're going to fall off. They are already. I think they're going to continue. They're tied with Detroit, and something I don't know about Detroit right now. They're just a mess. I think they need to try and run the offense through Iverson and just hope for the best. But I'm really, it's like, I kind of felt good things coming from Miami this offseason. A lot of people laughed at me, but I felt like, you know, I think this team is going to win at least 42 games, get the playoffs, and so far so good. Last guy I want to mention here is, you know, he's not a superstar anymore, Shaq, the original Superman. I don't know if I'm a Shaq fan, but I was rooting for him to do well this year, because, you know, we only got a couple more years of seeing, you know, one of the all-time greats playing, and he's a special player, always has been, and I wanted to see him do well in his last couple years. And this year in Phoenix, he's doing well. 18 points, 9 rebounds, over a block and a half, half a steal a game. He usually dishes out a couple assists a game. His free throws are over 63%. He's shooting a high percentage. Just giving them really solid minutes at the center position, just 31 minutes a game, about as much as you could hope. And he got named as a reserve to the Western Conference All-Star team, so that's great. Unfortunately, the Suns don't seem to be going anywhere. So, a couple things about the Suns, because now that, you know, we don't have a team right now, I like to root for the Suns a lot because they're a fun team. You know, they're a mess right now. Terry Porter is an awful head coach. I was watching the Suns-Spurs game, and he was doing some really stupid things. He was doing the hack-a-bowing for no reason. Awful head coach, Terry Porter. I understand why they got rid of D'Antoni, but not for this guy. Number 2 is, you know, beyond the obvious. Steve Nash is old. You know, Shaq is pretty old. Stoudemire doesn't fit what they want to do. Leandro Barbosa was apparently overrated. So, my friend suggested this trade the other day, and I like it. I don't think it's going to happen. Amare Stoudemire goes to the Sixers for Elton Brand and some draft pick. Elton Brand fits the Suns trying to run the half-court offense. Amare Stoudemire fits the Sixers who run the run-and-gun offense. Amare does not fit the Suns' offense. Brand doesn't fit the Sixers' offense right now. And also, the defense issue. So, I'm hoping that can happen. It's probably not, but I think that would be a great trade.